This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today we are going to be talking about GIannis Antetokounmpo taking the crown on Thursday against LeBron. We'll talk about if he truly did or if it was just, a gesture that was pretty badass. Then we'll talk about what is wrong with the Atlanta Hawks. Then we will wrap it up with talking about which team has the most exciting young core. And in there, we'll sprinkle in some wet boys. John, our patron, will also join us in this podcast as well. And if you want to be like John and join us on a podcast, join us at patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. John's at the 10 tier, and we appreciate him, $10 tier, and we appreciate him for that, or the gold tier, as you would see on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. So we appreciate him for that, and if you do check it out, we appreciate you for checking it out, and hopefully you become a patron, and you're able to chat with us each and every month. But let's jump into the massively important news of GIannis Antetokounmpo and his Milwaukee Bucks beating LeBron James's Los Angeles Lakers in Milwaukee last Thursday, 111-104. Dominant performance from GIannis Antetokounmpo, and the main thing people started, coming away with from his performance was him going 5 of 8 from 3, and then also after, I think he hit a 3, walked back to the court and made the gesture of putting a crown on top of his head. And before we get into all of that, I just want to throw this out there. And before we say, is he now the king of the NBA or whatever we want to talk about it, whatever we want to go with the hook of this for, on August 25th, I tweeted from the Most Valuable Podcast Twitter, Ben will be better than Giannis. As in, Ben Simmons will be better than Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hey, at least Ben made a 3, right, Jake? Right, Jake?
Shout out to Nihilist Bucks for retweeting it. Appreciate it. It's a bad take. Didn't even remember that take.
It's a pretty terrible take, yeah.
I was replying to Giannis or Ben Simmons.
Oh, no.
I don't know, one of them, but it was found, and it happened, and I said it, and it happened at 10:45 a.m.
It's not great.
No, not a great look, Dave. Not a great look. But
the moments I'm glad I don't have Twitter.
Yeah, it's a bad platform. But in the end, Giannis is right now clearly better than Ben Simmons and might be the best player in the NBA. What do you think of his performance on Thursday before we get into the whole, clickbaity kind of stuff of, did he take the crown?
I think
Man. I don't know.
I think it was amazing, and it's been nothing but consistent. Giannis has been just on this incredible level that he's been playing at, and it's year-over-year growth that's gotten him there. The biggest part about this game against the Lakers was the fact he's doing up against one of the best defenders in the NBA in Anthony Davis, as well as Dwight Howard in the low post. And then, again, going up against LeBron James, basically, the number one in the league for the last decade plus versus the guy who's finally coming to take his crown. And I loved it because he showed absolutely no fear out there. The thing about Giannis is we all know and love him for the fact that he's the most dominant player in the fast break. Like him, 3 strides from half court, he's at the rim, he's going for contact. He's one of the best players in the game at gain and ones. He's just incredibly dominant finisher in the fast break. In this game, he's like, you know what? Step backs. I'm going for the 3-point line. I'm going for just absolutely killing them. And he's got confidence in it. And that's because he's been taking more threes year over year, and his shot just keeps getting better. So it's just incredible the amount of growth he's had, but also the fact that this is proving it. This is really going at it.
What do you think of his shot? The actual shot itself.
I mean, it ain't pretty, but it goes in.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too, and I feel like right now it is very great to see that he has the confidence, and it is good to see that because some players don't even have the confidence to take that shot. Giannis is growing, and it is a great sign to see.
Yes,
I don't want to bash that at all. He's shooting 44.7%, and for Giannis, if it's going in and he's shooting 6 times at 44.7%, if that is happening, no one is going to complain. But
wait, no, he on the year?
No, in the past month.
Oh, okay. I was like, on the year he's 33.
Yeah, 33 in the entire year. But we saw last year in the second half he was over, I think, 33% from 3, and then this past month he's been at 44.7%.
Incredible.
It's good to see. He's got confidence in his shot. Great to see, and I don't want to take that away from him at all. I just feel like it is stoppable. And at some point, I do wonder if he's then going to force people to then come out and try to guard him out beyond, and I wonder how that might then change his game, because it's not saying that it's going to make him a better player or a worse player if people are going to take away his 3-point shot, because that means he's just going to have to, he's just going to blow by people and just be, 75% from the field. So I do wonder how it's then going to change and expand his game even more, because we've seen him be dominant, but I don't really know if it changed his game technically against the Lakers. I didn't really see a different Giannis out there. He was just taking wide open threes and hitting them. I mean, he could have easily gone 0 for 8 from 3. He didn't, and it was a great performance. But I'm just saying, it hasn't changed his game enough where I'm like, all right, he is a major threat from the outside.
I think it's a huge stepping stone to force him to, like you say, go out there and guard him. It's the respect. It's the gravity. If he can pull guys out to the 3-point line, guess what that means? Like you said, either he can go and put the ball on the floor and go blow past them, or he can create opportunities for other people, because the amazing thing about him is just the gravity that he plays with. When he drives to the lane, you see 4 guys going into the paint, and he's so big, so long that he can just throw the ball out. He's amazing at kick-out passes. So I'd love to see, even if he does pull them out to the 3-point line, guess what? That means the mid-range opens up for other guys, and they'll be able to get better looks from there if he passes out of that situation.
Yeah, and Ricky, I want to talk about that kind of, if he does become more dangerous out there, more consistent like he has been over the past month, from 3, even if the shot is pretty or not, it is going to draw guys out. It's going to change his game, and I think it's so important that this game, that one of his best 3-point shooting performances came against one of the best teams in the NBA, like the Lakers, because this is likely a team that you're going to match up with in the NBA Finals, and you absolutely know when they meet again, this is going to be in the back of the Lakers' mind. It's going to be the back of LeBron's mind and AD's mind, and this is such a huge marquee performance from Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know if he's become the king yet, but at least now you are seeing him develop into a player that can absolutely become the best player in the NBA for multiple years.
I think we found our successor too. When the king finally decides to take off the crown and retire, I think we finally found our guy who's going to pick up the crown and be, I don't know if it'll be the exact same as LeBron, where LeBron, ever since he came in, was being compared to, the great one, Michael Jordan.
Right.
But Giannis could fit, and I want to say like a Kobe role, where it's like Jordan retired, and then not right away, but a little bit after that, Kobe then became the best until LeBron came along. Then LeBron became the best. Giannis could do what Kobe didn't, because Kobe played with Shaq a little bit, where it was basically LeBron retires, I'm now the best in the league. And the thing I loved about the clip of him putting the crown on his head was he didn't just place it delicately on his head. He fucking jammed that thing on his head.
He was trying to get some attention out of that one.
Not even that. It looked like he was pissed off. Fuck this other team. Fuck LeBron. I'm the king.
No respect.
Talk about me. This Bucks team. And that's what I want to see, that this Bucks team, how they play, not in the regular season, but if this carries over into the playoffs. Because most people, I'll say, pretty much think that this one, maybe the Heat, we didn't expect them to be on the heater, no pun intended, that they're on right now. But most people expected the Bucks maybe to run away with the East this year. The Sixers are there, the Celtics, but the Bucks are the odds-on favorite to win the East. But no one out of us was picking them to beat the West. No one picked them to beat their Western Conference
opponents.
Foe, whether it's the Lakers, the Clippers, my Warriors that I didn't know Steph was going to get hurt.
Wrong. Told you.
But, I mean, the thing that I want to say...
Do the Warriors suck this year? What's going on?
I mean, I might have called that, though. I would have literally called their entire situation. I'm just saying.
Dave did. I didn't expect Steph to get hurt. And then,
what's Steph good for?
Yeah, I mean, but back to Giannis. We're in the playoffs.
You didn't expect Steph to get hurt. You also thought Klay Thompson was going to be. No, I'm saying to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought Klay was going to come back.
Yeah, but you thought Klay was going to be like Jesus Christ coming down from above, being like a miraculous savior.
Yes. And then once Steph got hurt and they shut him down, it's like, well, that prediction's over.
Yep.
But with Giannis, I feel like with this game, if they have that same, and I say they as the Bucks, have that same type of intensity, I think they could make, instead of it being like, well, the Lakers will probably beat them in 5, or the Clippers will probably beat them in 4, or the whatever other team you want to throw in there, the Mavericks or the Nuggets might beat them in 6.
The respect to the Mavs.
no matter who they
No
go up
one
against,
thought the Mavs-
Lakers, Clippers,
I know.
whoever's in there.
Yeah.
I think if the Bucks play like this, we could go into a Lakers-Bucks series, a Clippers-Bucks series, and say this one could go 7.
Well, I don't think, because we never picked the actual the length of the series in our predictions.
Preseason predictions, yeah.
But I don't think I was ever thinking like, was the Trailblazers with a good Blake Griffin. But I don't think I was ever thinking like, the Trailblazers are gonna blow past the Milwaukee Bucks. And I don't know if you were thinking, they're gonna blow the doors off the Bucks. I just thought that over 7 games, especially a game that's not on their home floor.
Yeah.
At some point, they're going to at least be able to get Giannis on a bad shooting night, or they're just going to do what they did to, teams did to them in the playoffs last year, mainly the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
Just have Giannis, have everyone else beat you besides Giannis, because Giannis is good for 40 a night, but what else is everyone else good for? What's Chris Midd good for? What is Eric Bledsoe good for? Can you play great defense on them because Giannis is going to beat you because he is such a freak?
Yeah.
And this game was in Milwaukee, so it's a good point that this one was a home game.
And I think that it was the first game. It doesn't mean that they're going to beat them every single time. I mean, I would still probably say the Bucks. I mean, after that performance, I think the Bucks absolutely would probably be favored to win a 7-game series because they were so dominant in that first half. I think they had like a near a 20-point lead going into halftime. I think that they'd probably be favored in a 7-game series.
I have a hard time picking against LeBron James or Kawhi.
No, but I'm not saying you can't pick against them. I'm just saying they're probably favored.
I don't think so. I think as well as the Bucks are playing right now, and it is well, like you said, when the playoff time comes, those other teams have 2 stars. They have LeBron and AD. You have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And I think that's the thing that in a series, the whole dynamic changes. One game, you can have incredible star performances out of, your guy and get by. But during the playoffs, that's when the defense locks in. That's when the game slows down.
They need a Fred VanVleet.
They've got...
Because I could see that if someone on their team gets hot like Fred did last year for the Raptors,
right,
then that's exactly what you're talking about.
They're praying right now. They're getting that out of George Hill, who's shooting incredibly well. Chris Midd, I think, is like 50, 40, 80 on the year. Like he is or close to that area. Like they are getting amazing level efficiency out of these outside players.
Well, yeah, and you never know when Dragon Bender's just going to become Fred VanVleet.
It's going to happen.
Or Pat Connaughton's going to become
Pat
Fred.
Connaughton's been flying around. But no,
the only thing that guy's good for is his vertical.
It is, but that's the thing. In these full-on series, that's when the games slow down. That's when you see less fast break opportunities, and that's how you slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like that's the whole thing. Their game plan, their entire system is predicated off of his gravity, him being able to draw contact, him being able to play up-tempo, and creating those wide-open looks for his players on the outside. So when you slow everything down and teams start switching up their defensive profiles and you have time to adjust, that's when we see how do they make adjustments in the playoffs, because you have a younger head coach, and you wonder... He's not that young, actually. I take it back. But you have a head coach who doesn't have the same level of experience as players on the other teams. Like, I'm sorry, like, for all intents and purposes, I know the Lakers have a head coach, but you have LeBron James and Rajon Rondo out there as 2 assistant coaches on the floor. You have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George out there, and Doc Rivers, who is a very well-respected head coach.
And technically, the Lakers have 2 head coaches, Vogel and Kidd.
I don't even count either one of them most nights.
Well, that's 1 head coach then. They both make 1.
So my point being is, like, can they continue to make adjustments? Can they continue to match what the other teams are putting out there? And in a potential finals matchup against the Western Conference, which I'm not even writing off that they're even going to get there. I think right now they're the favorites because the regular season, Giannis isn't even playing, max minutes a night. He has been cruising through games. It's blow out a team early and then rest. It's very reminiscent of what Steph Curry did in, I think, the 2015-16 year, where he took off fourth quarters for most games because you don't need him.
And we see what could happen when they're not able to get out to an early lead. You look just at the game before. They're on a, 17-game win streak?
Yeah.
17-game win streak, and then they go up against Dallas in Milwaukee. Dallas jumps out to a 36-22 lead, and Dallas ends up winning by 4. We saw that in that game as well. Giannis was fantastic. Giannis had a Giannian night. 58% from the field, 48 points. But everyone else was brutal from the field. Dante DiVincenzo, 2 of 8. Chris Midd, 4 of 12. Wesley Matthews, 2 of 6. Brook Lopez, 1 of 8. Korver was great. 6 of
Yeah.
8, 5 of 7 from 3. George Hill, 4 of 10, 0 of 4 from 3. Sterling Brown, 1 of 6. Ursan was 4 of 11. Pat Connaughton, 2 of 5. So
and you mentioned Korver doing well, but the problem is when Korver's out there, other teams abuse Korver on the defensive end. So like it's that double-edged sword. Oh God,
It's the Korver
I
move.
thought you saw like a bug or
No,
something.
it's the Korver move.
I
Cower and
thought the
fear.
mouse was back again. But that's a double-edged sword. So yes, he does bring you great shooting on that night, but also other teams can abuse him because of his lack of defense.
Yeah,
So it's interesting.
But still, at least to that point, we could still see nights where Giannis has these incredible performances, but he's still beat by follow-up, great performances, by Kristaps, who's shooting threes from the logo, and just going 1v1 against Giannis.
Dropping daggers.
But in the end, too, I mean, it's just Giannis makes this team so legitimate. I don't know where they would be without him. And now the fact that if he can really find his stride going into March and is able to be near a 35% shooter throughout this entire season, I do wonder how people are going to start changing the way that they try to defend him. Do you think if he's shooting at that percentage, we are going to see guys more come out on him and try to contest that three-pointer? Because I do wonder, because he does have a lot of confidence, I do wonder if he starts making more of these, if he's then going to just be more confident and try to pull up in front of people's faces. Because if I am a team that's going up against him, that's the only shot I want Giannis taking is a contested three. Because I don't think it's going to go in with the way he's shooting.
No,
You might not be able to block it, but the form isn't consistent enough to have that fault.
Yeah, I'd be okay with him taking pull-up threes, I guess.
I mean, we're already seeing the shot isn't perfect, but I'm already seeing that the work that he's done, because the big thing over the offseason was that, he's working with Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver's helping him with his outside shot. That can still develop over the year. So I'm not going to say it's going to be a perfect shot, but I wonder if more work with the team, more one-on-one work, maybe with Kyle Korver, who's one of the best three-point shooters that I've seen in my life, not even like up to the greats, but even just a really good three-point shooter day in and day out. I think he can still improve it to where when we get to the playoffs, it's like, we said it was janky, now it's a lot better. And this is a better Giannis than what we saw in December.
I don't know if we could see that much growth, though. I mean, it's tough to get into that type of muscle memory when you're trying to make sure that you're just everything else is going great. I mean, Giannis doesn't need to change much as long as he's shooting near 35% from 3, 33% from 3. He can have a bad form. It's just the fact that if he at some point or any point starts having guys guard him near that three-point line, he is just going to dominate taking it to the rim. And he's already dominant doing it. So that's why he'd be at stupid percentage levels.
Kit. And then we're talking about the most complete player in the game, because we haven't even mentioned his defense.
Yeah.
But that's the scary thing. Like, there's a reason he's at the top of everyone's MVP rankings right now. This is because he's an amazing two-way player. Offensively, he's basically unstoppable downhill. Now he's added the outside shot. And, he's taking in the last month like 6 threes a game. So he keeps ticking up in the right direction. I'm like, this man never stops growing as a player. It's incredible. Like, I've never seen someone take as many steps forward in their game, like piece by piece put together. I don't think I've ever seen any player in my lifetime do that.
It's really cool also to just have likable athletes. Like the guy who is number one right now, I know people didn't like LeBron's China stuff, and that's absolutely fair. But outside of that, I mean, the dude's been pretty rock solid for 17 years. So shout out to...
The decision was about the only thing you can take away from him.
But even then,
I know.
Who cares? The kid was like 26 at that time.
The only people who hate
to
him is Cleveland.
But even
Well,
then,
now
they
they love
don't
him.
because they love him because of the
saying.
championship. So
That's what I'm saying.
like, if you hate LeBron, LeBron hasn't done that. Like, he hasn't done bad things.
No.
And he's never been accused of cheating or anything like that.
He just built a school in, what was it, Akron?
Yeah.
That now has like great test scores and stuff.
I promise one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and with Giannis now, this is a guy that was absolutely overlooked in Greece. Went 15th in the draft, and then I think he even said post game, he was like, I wasn't even supposed to be here. And now he's worked himself into this great spot. So it's cool to have faces of the league that you can like. I think probably the most unlikable one in a while is just James Harden, just because he of the flop stuff.
People just don't like the way he plays the game.
And then KD kind of, but also KD just likes poking people, but KD is not actually a bad person.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have these guys because, I mean, Giannis is just a great story.
Yep.
He's kicking ass. Is there anything that Giannis, I mean, So we know that Giannis already right now is a better defender than LeBron James.
Yeah,
and has been since he came into the league. Maybe what?
I'd probably say the last
second
3
year?
years. Only the last 3 years.
He's been all defensive player
LeBron
twice.
stopped caring about defense.
During the regular season. During the playoff LeBron,
No, yeah.
you can't take that away. That's what I'm saying. Like
Where Giannis
maximum
always
effort
cares
LeBron.
about defense.
Maximum effort LeBron was a better defender until like maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's where I would go in. Like
2016, 2017, it had a defensive box score plus minus of 3.5, and his box plus minus was 7.6. His
are dumb
defensive
numbers.
win shares were 4.5. I think Giannis has been a better defender for at least 4 years now.
playoff LeBron, maximum effort LeBron. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
but that's what 20 games compared to Giannis doing it for 82,
Which games
92.
matter? Which games matter more?
Giannis is still doing it in the
no
the
one
playoffs.
cares about the regular
What's
season.
the-
That's all I'm
No,
saying.
but he's still doing it in the playoffs.
But
I would still
LeBron's
say he's a better defender.
here
I would still
at
say
max
he's
effort.
Okay, but no, I would. Giannis is a better defender.
Now, that's what I'm saying. 3 years ago is when he surpassed him.
No,
Like-
we're making the same argument. I was saying 2016, 2017.
Okay, then that lines up.
Yeah.
What's LeBron? So the defensive stats
Yeah,
you read off for
17,
LeBron, what are those for him this year? Because the one thing
No,
I
I was
was
reading off for Giannis.
I thought you okay. Because the one thing I was looking into that was interesting, and it goes into like what you said, Dave, of like regular season LeBron.
Yep.
LeBron has never had a defensive box score plus minus. His highest is 3.6. Last year, Giannis Antetokounmpo was at a 5.
What's LeBron?
And right now he's at a 4.6.
What's LeBron's this year?
LeBron's this year is a 2.2.
Okay.
The highest defensive win shares Bron ever had was 6.5. Giannis's highest defensive win share is 5.5. Mm-hmm. So, and Giannis right now is leading the league with 2.1.
Yeah.
Because the one I read an article where it was basically kind of going in that one of the good things about having Anthony Davis on that team is he's kind of pushing LeBron to go for like an all defensive team where it's like both of them together. It's like, hey, my defense is now rubbing off onto you to where we're not seeing maximum LeBron every single game because it's a regular season. You got to conserve yourself, especially as you get older. But this is not the LeBron James that we're used to seeing.
It's not Lacoste.
Yeah, it's not Lacoste. It's not, I got an injury. I'm going to sit out today.
He never did that.
No, last year is what I'm referencing, the injured season.
He had an injury.
No,
For the first time in 17 years.
I'm referencing.
And it was legitimate.
I'm referencing
No, dude's weak.
I'm not coming back. I'm not playing with this team.
There's no reason for him to come back.
But
no arguments.
Basically, the point is Anthony Davis with him kind of boosting up LeBron in the regular season. We're not going to see that LeBron James that it's like, oh, well, LeBron doesn't care about defense.
No, I mean, you're also playing along Avery Bradley, known for his defense. Rajon Rondo, when he turns up, known for defense. Dwight Howard next to Anthony Davis, amazing defender. Like, they've surrounded him with good defenders on the court. Danny Green, great defender. Like, that's the whole thing. This team...
Dwight, too.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. This whole team is built out to be able to defend anyone, and then you're winning off the backs of Anthony Davis's offense, LeBron's offense, creating for all these other guys. So like their team comp makeup is just amazing. But
I could give love to Dwight. You were like,
did.
I did
He
first.
did.
I literally mentioned him after Anthony Davis.
He mentioned
did?
Dwight.
Yeah.
He just didn't
Oh.
do the same thing that he did. If I would have
My
done
bad.
it, Dave would have been like, hey, Rick, you're not
I already
paying
said
attention.
that. Yeah, it's
I heard Avery Bradley, AD, and then
Dwight.
Danny
After
Green.
Dwight.
I didn't hear the Dwight thing.
Yeah. After AD, I mentioned Dwight. But, no big deal. No big deal, Sean.
Lo siento. Just making sure everybody heard Dwight Howard now.
Dwight Howard.
Did you say Dwight Howard?
Dwight? Anybody? I just think the whole point is like that team all around is great defensively. So by the impact of them playing great defense, LeBron will play better defense. But Giannis on his own is just disgusting. So all credit to him. I think the thing with you brought up in your first point was, when LeBron retires, like he's the guy. I'm like, I think he's the guy already.
Giannis?
I think Giannis is the guy already. I think he is the best player in the league as of today. And the only thing that people will bring up is the fact that, hey, where's the ring then? Like, if he doesn't win a ring this year, is he the best player? And I still think individual performance-wise, he's probably there. And like it's disappointing because we all thought it was Anthony Davis. He was the one who was supposed to be the guy after LeBron James. And everybody crowned him.
It's such a shit fucking argument too. Like, where's the ring? It doesn't mean anything.
It's a team sport.
Well, I'm not going to take that argument because it's probably the least amount of a team sport.
Individual contributors are more
the
than
big four.
Yeah.
I mean, NHL is probably the biggest team sport, and you need luck. Then NFL, then Major League Baseball, and then even then it's such a vast difference between those.
I get it. Impact
those.
of one player on the floor versus one of 11.
I think rings probably matter more, at least for legacy, when it comes to the NBA. So I know where it's coming from, but like when you're comparing it to where Bron has been, how long did it take LeBron to win a title? Giannis should at least be given that much time before you start having that argument.
Yep.
Right now, Giannis is probably...
He's in year 7. I think LeBron got his in year 9 or 8. Somebody fact check that shit. Because I know it was the Michael Jordan won his ring in this year.
2011, 2012, right? Was the first LeBron ring. So 2003, 2004 was his first season. So his 8th year, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. His 9th year. And then Giannis is in his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th year. So he's got 2 more years.
Well, and the question I'll throw out, because I know people are going to jump all over Dave for saying Giannis is the best player, because there's one guy that I feel like I forgot early on. I just remembered his name. Here's the question I'll ask. LeBron retires.
Yep.
Who's your best player in the NBA out of these 3? I think these 3 are at the top to take the crown. Giannis, Kawhi, or James Harden?
Luka Doncic.
Ooh, wild card. I'll say dark horse. A little bit too young right now to take the king role.
No,
but
it's Giannis, I think.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi is...
Because people are going to throw out Kawhi, and I think with, like, James Harden, cool, go off to the side, you're not the king. It's Kawhi or Giannis is the one. Because Kawhi is also just, like, I don't want to say just as good defensively, but he's also a very elite defensive player.
No, he is.
Like Giannis is.
Yeah, Kawhi's up there. The only difference is the fact that Giannis happens to be 6'11" with better ball handling skills and a better true shooting percentage and better defensive upside. Like, Kawhi Leonard's an amazing player, don't get me wrong, and he is one of the best mid-range shooters we've seen since Kobe Bryant. The problem is the fact that he's also been, the guy who helped Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony get to their ring, and then he went over to the Raptors and helped them get a ring.
And now he could
that's
do it for
his
the Clippers.
legacy. Is like he's like the Deion Sanders of the NBA. He's helping guys get rings team by team.
I'm a mercenary.
And that's the thing. Like, if he wins one on the Clippers, that's a really crazy story for a player to go 3 for 3 on 3 different teams. Like, that's just absolutely amazing. As one of the guys, I know he wasn't the guy on the first Spurs one, but like, he was a Finals MVP.
He
deserved it. And
he locked down LeBron. I think that's enough to be like, okay, you earned your keep, bro.
True. So, like, as much credit as I'm giving that, like, I look and I'm like, Giannis is just able to do things that you aren't. And now the fact that you're going to have an injury for the rest of your career that's going to limit you, that also raises a question.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation because I think Giannis, from at least a player mold, should absolutely be the best player in the NBA. But I think it's tough to do it, to say that he is, just because people have such a fondness for LeBron and people have doubted him so many times. And I think even the NFL stuff is bleeding in, like when people are doubt Tom Brady, he just comes back and wins another Super Bowl. I don't think people want to do that to LeBron.
Correct.
And then also it's tough because Kawhi just did that, in the NBA Finals, and I think I said after that he is the best player in the NBA.
Yep.
And my mind changes all the time because there's so many good guys in the fucking NBA.
True.
I don't even know if Giannis would be my MVP because of look at what James Harden's doing. Giannis probably should be, but I mean James Harden, after scoring 36 points per game over fucking 162 games, should probably deserve some respect there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult conversation, and I like hearing what people say. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Who's the best player in the NBA right now? I don't think there is a wrong answer besides like Deion Waiters. If you say Deion Waiters, you're fucking wrong. But other than that, like if you're saying
buckets,
it's been great. But if you say Giannis, if you say Kawhi, if you say LeBron, if you say
Kevin Durant with his
KD,
knees.
yeah, KD's probably fair. Steph, maybe.
Yeah.
If you say Steph, it's kind of weak.
God, that's another one. Totally forgot it because he's not playing. It's KD.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know who you think the best player in the NBA is down in the comments below. Your vote's Giannis.
I have to admit Giannis right now.
I'll say Kawhi.
Really?
So Giannis this year, when LeBron hangs it up, we're going to say Kawhi is the next best overall. Overall, it's Kawhi. This year, it's Giannis.
I would flip that
because we're gonna. Because overall, I'm throwing playoffs into it. Right now, I'm just throwing regular season into it.
If I would have to say it, I would say that Kawhi is probably the best after what you saw last week, last week. last year. But if anything, I mean, with Giannis's age, he's going to be the best player in the NBA when LeBron retires.
Yeah. And the other, I know we're trying to end this, but I got to drop it in there.
Go ahead.
The question is, like, you can pick up, Kawhi's proven, he can go play on any team, doesn't matter. Can
Giannis do the same?
He's just as effective. Giannis has a team molded around him. He's got a team with a 5 who can take 8 threes a game, and that's part of their normal thing. They've got outside shooters. They completely built around this guy, and that's great, and it's working for them. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but I'm just saying the fact that Kawhi came from 3 different systems and he's able to produce at the same level. The fact that LeBron James has been who LeBron James is with a rotating cast of like 1.5 million fucking role players.
And Kevin Durant.
But hold on.
Kevin Durant did the same thing.
Hold on. With that, Kevin Durant played on the greatest team ever assembled.
I know.
I'm not even mentioning him.
LeBron James also needs players around him to shoot the 3. We always talk about LeBron's team. Look what happened last year when the team wasn't built around him. LeBron just wasn't the same player. And then with Kawhi Leonard, that is true, but then again,
he was playing. But he
played with 2 amazing veteran teams that all those guys were able to do everything that was needed out of them. He played with Greg Popovich, who was able to get everything needed out of all of those players. In Toronto, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, Fred VanVleet, Serge Ibaka, all those guys were able to do anything that they needed, have been able to mold their game into what they needed to. Yeah, Pascal Siakam as well. I don't know if that is...
I just think it's an extra thing to consider when you're going down that road.
Giannis, every player is going to do better when the team's built around them, but also if you're saying that, if Giannis had, mid-range, shooters built all around him.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, if it was DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gay, Andrew Wiggins, and, fucking... JaVale McGee on his starting 5. He's still gonna blow by people and dunk over them, and he's still gonna be a phenomenal player.
It adds a different.
His stat line might not be the same, but he's still
to the
going.
Conversation. It's something to consider. You can't not.
Let us know what you think. Does it add an asterisk? I don't think it does. I would say probably right now Giannis is the best player in the NBA and will be for years to come, probably the next at least 5 years. Because I don't think he's going to slow down. He's only 25 right now, which is stupid. Just stupid. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Who you got for best player in the NBA right now.